I apologize in advance for using an AI voice, especially since this one in particular isn't great, but just stay tuned.
There's always more that we can do. And one of the things that we've been thinking about lately is really our role within a larger industry of these online, gaming, social media, and communication platforms. Just to remind everybody is nearly every example of real critical harms that happen on the platform where somebody's health or safety is at risk, nearly every single one of them involves not just Roblox, but it involves other social media and messaging platforms. And like we talked about earlier, our policies of restricting types of communication on the platform are such that oftentimes what we see are people, bad actors, trying to move conversations to other platforms. And again, that's where, when people report bad things to us, sometimes it comes in screenshots of what happened on another platform.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Just to remind everybody is nearly every example of real critical harms that happen on the platform where somebody's health or safety is at risk, nearly every single one of them involves not just Roblox, but it involves other social media and messaging platforms.
That is Roblox's way of refusing to take accountability for the things that happen on their platform. Roblox, stop deflecting. The cases that started on or because of Roblox is entirely on you guys due to your moderation failure. This conversation here took place on a Roblox game that you guys are currently platforming called Friend Me, a Roblox game that is essentially just Tinder. You can't make this stuff up. You guys have known about this for ages, by the way. But hold on.
We're doing a few things. One is we're investing in what we're calling bad scenes detection, so that we can actually moderate in the moment those servers and take them down if users are behaving badly. And we also occasionally, if we find that there's a real preponderance of bad behavior in a game, we will reach out to the developer and work with them to make updates to the design of that game that we think will mitigate that harm. So we always want to work with our developers first and give them an opportunity to make changes to the design and see if that works to mitigate bad behavior before we go any further in actually actioning the game for the behavior of the users.
Oh, really, Eliza? Well, I really do hate to inform you that it has been 7 months since the release of this train wreck of a response, and your guy's bad scene detection either has still not been developed or does not work whatsoever. Look at this game, called Row Meet. I joined the game on an alternate account, posed as a 15-year-old girl. I'm not actually a minor, and I'm a guy. Want to see how literally the first conversation went? Because it wasn't even 10 seconds into the chat where he asked if I'm freaky, and then if I send, which for those who don't know, by send, he means inappropriate photos, which he clarifies here. Then I tell him that I'm only 15. Yeah, he didn't care. In fact, he claimed himself to be 15 as well, which is almost certainly a lie. He's almost certainly either an adult or part of an extortion group or both. Adult or not, this is disgusting, illegal, and predatory. He asked for Snapchat, which of course is where he would attempt this. Obviously, I didn't give him anything, so he just ended the chat. Roblox, aren't you guys supposed to detect this? This all happened with zero moderation whatsoever. If Roblox was actually safe, this conversation would have never happened. People like that individual wouldn't be using your platform.
So on bad scene detection, fully compliant avatars, fully compliant experiment, but maybe if we had an experiment where you could stack boxes on top of each other in a certain way or something like that, you could imagine, even though you're stacking boxes, something just not being too cool with, the image
right.
you tried to draw with those boxes. And so I think my interpretation is this is real-time detection of just...
Real-time detection? Did this user get real-time detected, Dave? No, he didn't get detected at all. His Roblox account still exists, fellas.
For a long time, we focused on moderating individuals. If you say something that's against our policies, or if you do something that we can tie back to you, we would moderate the user. We would also moderate content. Did the content meet our standards or not? And what we found is that when you bring lots of people together, sometimes it's very difficult to determine, like, the content might be all okay. The users, it's very hard to determine, like, well, what user is really responsible for the activity that's happening? So with our bad scenes detection, which we're starting to invest in, is we're saying, like, there might be a game server, a game running with, like 20 people or 30 people in it. And instead of trying to figure out who the one individual is who's causing the problem, we will just take down that one server, alert everybody to the fact that the behavior there was violative, and do that to be more proactive in addressing some of these issues. And we're just starting on that. I would say that it's a really complicated problem. We look at communication. We take screenshots of what's happening inside these games. We look at abuse reports. We look at audio if there's voice enabled. We look at all of these things in real time to try and make these determinations. And it's something that we're really excited about and investing in.
So why didn't you shut down these servers? Why is bad scenes detection so terrible that it can't stop behavior as predatory as I'm about to show you? The conversation I just showed you, where a user was already attempting to solicit illegal material, was only the first guy I encountered. Here's the next guy after he skipped. Speaks for itself. No comment. Next one, immediately asks if I send. I played dumb by asking if he meant usernames. So he went along with that and said, yeah. Proceeds to ask for Snapchat. And then, next guy, immediately asks if I'm freaky and asks if I can try. He asks what social media I have, solicits photos, says he doesn't mind despite me saying that I'm 15, and then I ghosted him like he asked. That's what he asked, right? Next guy asks right away if I'm freaky, then attempts to solicit photos. Next guy, which happens to be one of the same guys as earlier, again solicits photos, asks for Snapchat, doesn't care about the fact that we just met, admits that he's asking for Snapchat because he wants photos. So I gave him a totally real Snapchat handle and then abandoned him. Next guy accidentally copy and paste the same question twice, soliciting photos. Next guy asks how old I am, leaves after I say 15. Next guy asks what I want to do, then dips. Next guy with a very weird username attempts to keep the conversation going for a good while and then asks me to expose something about myself, whatever that means. Then he asks for Snapchat. Then I dipped. Bad scenes detection? Real-time detection, huh, Dave? What, you thought that was it? Well, where's DJ Khaled? Because I've got
another one.
The next day I ran the same test. First guy I encountered asked if I'm freaky, then solicited photos. Next guy asked how old I am and asked for Snapchat. Next guy kept the conversation going for a while saying he's looking for people to make Snapchat streaks with. I don't have Snapchat, so I have no clue what this means, but he mentioned that it had something to do with photos. He also wanted to call me. He then asked for Snapchat. Next guy asked right off the bat how old I am, then asked if I'm freaky. My gosh. Oh, look at that. The guy from earlier is still trying to reach me. At the same time as this guy soliciting me for photos. Wonderful. What a safe platform Roblox is. Next guy straight up says his supposed age and asks for mine, then asked for Snapchat. He said he's rating people's pictures and admitted that some of these photos are illegal ones and asked me if I want to try. Next guy asks how old I am and if I'm a freak and asks if I sent illegal imagery. Oh gosh. The guy from earlier again. Next guy asks this straight off the bat and yeah, screw that. Next guy with a very weird avatar just tries to keep the conversation going, says stuff like that. He feels better talking to me, etc. I had to go, but I think we all have a pretty good idea of where this conversation was going. Bad scenes detection. Huh, guys? And in case you make the excuse that it hasn't been fully developed yet, it doesn't matter. You cannot be advertising your platform as safe when moderation is as poor and non-existent as just demonstrated. And again, by the way, their discussion about bad scenes detection was 7 months ago, and still seemingly nothing has come from it.
There's a video that sometimes we see, which is like, oh my gosh, how can this be on Roblox right now? How do you respond to that if we have all these safety systems and they can flag a video like that?
So like you, we appreciate people identifying those situations. But I would say it's a little bit ironic that that type of content is often shared on social media and video sharing platforms and not moderated there. And so I think that really speaks to the fact that we hold ourselves to a very high standard when it comes to our policies around what is acceptable content and behavior on the policy. And we believe we really do stand out in the industry in how restrictive we are and how important we think it is to keep this type of content off the platform.
Yeah, how can this be on Roblox? I mean, the conversations I just showed were from a game called Romeet, which is a game on Roblox that's essentially just like Omegle. For context, Omegle was an online, open, and public chat system that was so unbelievably inappropriate and filled with predators to the point that it was taken down and legal action was taken against it. So Roblox, why the hell were you actively platforming Romeet for weeks?
That's right. And one just thing I would add about the bad scenes detection that I think is important is one thing we've seen with voice nudges, where we time people out of voice when we detect that they're violating our policies, is it actually reduces the overall toxicity in that server. People stop doing the bad behavior when they've been nudged, or they leave the server and decide they don't want to participate anymore. But either way, the experience is better.
Key words, in that server. The creeps will just move to another server or game and participate in the same behavior.
So, I can see some of our community naming experiences on Roblox and just say, take it down, take it down, take it down. I'd say examples could be Meep City, for example. Can you share, why should that be up? Should that be down? What's up?
Yeah, I think one thing that's really challenging on this global immersive interactive platform is that we have content created by developers and creators and content created by the community, by the users that are in that game. And one thing that we really try to do is be fair to our developers and to not moderate them for the behavior of their users.
Not moderating the developers for the behavior of their users? Alex Neutron knew damn well what was happening in this game, considering people were talking about it for nearly a decade. Before all of the content got removed recently, the game was thriving, with predators and many people who were doing stuff they should not be doing in a game that's targeted for children. Alex Neutron didn't care. He knew exactly what was happening. He just simply didn't care. What you guys just said is meaningless. Alex Neutron was knowingly platforming a game full of predators, while knowingly keeping features in-game for them to abuse. But after the Schlepp situation was gaining a lot of traction, suddenly on the 20th of August, 2025, Meep City had all of its inappropriate content, such as the custom avatar editor, removed. And almost overnight, the game's concurrent players went from thousands to just a few hundred on average. This was literally direct proof that the vast majority of players on Meep City were there for not very family-friendly things. So did Roblox take action? Was that it? No, not at all. Literally, as I was making this video, I was going to get the CCU stats for Meep City, but when I did that, I noticed this huge sudden spike at the end here, at the beginning of January. It turns out that this is because of a TikTok trend where players are trying to revive Meep City parties. I don't have TikTok, so I can't show you this directly. It's just what I've heard, and considering how degenerate TikTok is, I fully believe it. After I saw the stats, I went to check it out. Saw that people were rushing to parties. And the first one I went to, anyways, Meep City was just one game experiencing this issue, probably the most populated one, but there's still many others. Granted, Roblox did also take action against some other inappropriate games, such as XYZ Hangouts, public bathroom simulators, Vibe Hangout games, and so on. But you can still easily find similar games filled with these players on Roblox. It really isn't difficult at all. Roblox is simply not doing remotely enough to moderate their platform. Now, I had just said that it's easy to find inappropriate games on Roblox. That's absolutely true. In fact, it's far too easy. Sometimes there are just games in which you would not expect to be filled with such content. Hell, Meep City makes a great example for this. Any little kid who had just downloaded Roblox can look at Meep City's colorful thumbnail and eye-catching amount of players and think, oh, this is probably a really sweet and fun game. They would not expect it to be filled with, well, what we know it's filled with.
Played on it before, and yep, there's a. So
Even though Meep City is essentially gone, there are still many games that fit that description. There are many games in which, on first glance, appear completely innocent, in just fun and games. But in reality, they're absolutely not. Luckily, not all games are like Meep City. Lots of games on Roblox have developers that actually do care for the safety of their players and actively take measures to moderate their game and keep bad actors away. But as we all know, Roblox doesn't. Now, what happens when Roblox bans a developer but keeps the game up? Who's gonna moderate it? Because again, we all know Roblox won't. So who will? The answer is pretty simple. Nobody. I'm not done. What I found on this platform is genuinely disgusting. These games here, they look innocent, huh? They might be nostalgic to some of you, but sorry to let you down, because in the next video, I'll demonstrate to you just how dangerous these games can be. Just how dangerous any Roblox game can be. Meep City may have finally had action taken against it, but unfortunately, there's infinitely many more Meep Cities out there on Roblox. Stay safe. Warn everyone you know about this platform.